What if your paycheck didn't just buy groceries, but bought you a piece of the company you work for? That's the core idea behind ownership-based pay, or OBP. It's not a bonus. It's not a stock option for executives. It's a system where every worker earns part of their compensation in ownership: shares, equity, real stake in the business. Why does this matter? Because the economy is rigged toward capital, not labor. If you only earn wages, you're locked out of the wealth-building game. Ask yourself, are you okay with working 40 years and owning nothing? If not, keep watching. OBP means your labor doesn't just create profit for someone else, it creates profit for you. Instead of 100% wages, imagine 80% wages and 20% ownership. Over time, that ownership grows: dividends, appreciation, voting rights. You're not just a worker, you're a stakeholder. Why is this revolutionary? Because wages are capped by hours. Ownership scales with growth. When the company wins, you win. When the economy expands, you expand. This is how we break the cycle of paycheck-to-paycheck living. Would you trade 5% of your paycheck for 5% ownership? Do you believe workers deserve a seat at the table, or just a chair in the break room? Traditional wages are like renting your life. You give time, you get cash, and when the clock stops, so does your income. Ownership-based pay flips that script. It says, why rent your labor when you can invest it? Why does this matter? Because renting never builds wealth. Ownership does. Ask yourself, do you want to retire with memories or with money that works for you? Traditional wages equals linear income. You work, you earn. Stop working, income dies. OBP equals exponential potential. You work, you earn, and you own. Ownership compounds. It grows while you sleep. Wages don't. That's why the rich get richer. They own. OBP brings that power to labor. It's capitalism upgraded, not socialism disguised. Which sounds better? I worked for 30 years, or I built wealth for 30 years? If ownership is the engine of wealth, why are workers locked out? The middle class is dying, wages stagnate, costs explode, wealth concentrates at the top. If nothing changes, the middle class becomes a memory. OBP is the antidote. Why? Because it redistributes future growth, not past wealth. It gives workers a share of the upside without tearing down capitalism. Ask yourself, do you want your kids to inherit opportunity or debt? OBP turns workers into investors. It rebuilds the backbone of America, the middle class, by giving them equity in the economy they power. Without OBP, the gap widens until collapse. With OBP, growth is shared, stability returns, families thrive. This isn't charity, it's survival. Is saving the middle class worth changing how we pay people? What happens to democracy when the middle class disappears? Employee ownership isn't new. ESOPs, co-ops, profit sharing, they've existed for decades. So why hasn't it scaled? Because most models are optional, complex, or limited to executives. OBP changes that. It makes ownership a default, not a perk. Why does this matter? Because history shows ownership works, but only when it's widespread. From Mondragon in Spain to Winco in the US, employee-owned firms outperform peers. Higher productivity, lower turnover, stronger communities. The problem? Scale. OBP is the evolution, simple, mandatory, universal. It's the next chapter in a proven story. Why do you think ownership models stay niche? Should every worker have skin in the game, or just the CEO? OBP isn't socialism, it's capitalism on steroids. It doesn't redistribute wealth, it redistributes opportunity. Why does this matter? Because Americans hate socialism but love fairness. OBP delivers both. Ask yourself, do you want a bigger government or a bigger piece of the pie? Capitalism rewards capital. OBP gives labor capital. It doesn't kill markets, it supercharges them. More owners equals more investors, more stability. Socialism says share everything. OBP says earn ownership through work. That's meritocracy, not Marxism. Does capitalism fail when workers own nothing? Is OBP the upgrade capitalism needs to survive? UBI gives you cash. OBP gives you power. Which do you want? UBI is passive, OBP is active. UBI says, here's money, stay quiet. OBP says, here's ownership, have a voice. Why does this matter? Because freedom isn't funded, it's earned. UBI treats symptoms. OBP cures the disease. The disease, wealth inequality. UBI keeps you dependent. OBP makes you independent. UBI is a band-aid. OBP is a blueprint for prosperity. Would you rather get $1,000 a month or own part of the economy? Does UBI solve inequality or cement it? Economics sounds scary, but OBP is simple math. Wages equals linear, ownership exponential. Why does this matter? Because exponential beats linear every time. Ask yourself, do you want your income to stop at your paycheck or grow while you sleep? OBP shifts part of labor cost into equity. Companies issue shares to workers. Workers gain dividends and appreciation. Over time, wealth compounds. That's the magic. It's not charity, it's math. Do you believe compounding should be reserved for the rich? What happens when millions of workers start compounding wealth? Wealth inequality isn't just unfair, it's dangerous. It breeds instability, anger, collapse. OBP attacks the root cause, ownership concentration. Why does this matter? Because without change, the top 1% owns everything, and you own nothing. OBP spreads ownership. It doesn't punish success, it multiplies it. More owners, less inequality, stronger democracy. This isn't redistribution, it's inclusion. Is inequality a bug or a feature of capitalism? Can capitalism survive if ownership stays exclusive? Labor creates value, capital captures it. Why? Because the system says so. OBP rewrites that rule. Why does this matter? Because without ownership, labor is disposable. Ask yourself, are you okay being disposable? Modern economies run on human effort. Machines don't build themselves. Ideas don't execute themselves. Labor deserves a share of what it creates. OBP makes that happen. Should value creators share in value capture? Is labor just a cost or a partner in growth? Do you really consent to wage-only work, or is it coercion disguised as choice? If ownership isn't offered, is your consent valid? Why does this matter? Because freedom without options isn't freedom, it's illusion. Wage-only systems say, take it or starve. That's not consent. OBP introduces real choice, work for wages alone, or wages plus ownership. That's freedom, that's dignity. Is consent real when survival forces your hand? Should workers have the right to refuse wage-only jobs? Want to learn more about ownership-based pay? Want to learn how to make it a reality? And how to best position yourself while pushing for OBP? Like and subscribe to become part of Citizen T and the OBP Republic. Together we forge the future. The Republic needs you. Join Citizen T.